Good morning, everyone. Welcome into the SEC Morning Report. I am Blayne Gilmer. This is Southeastern 14, your daily SEC sports coverage home. If you are wanting basketball coverage, it's going to be ramping up here with Blake Lovell, Chris Lee going to be doing that. Of course, we got baseball in the spring, but guys, we are in the prime time of football season right now. The first college football playoff rankings have just come out this week, and we have some marquee matchups this weekend. Mizzou, Georgia, we've been breaking all that down this week. LSU and Alabama in a fight to see who has some control over the West out there. Well, at least partially. Ole Miss will have something to say about it if LSU does beat Alabama, so we'll get into that as well. But so many exciting matchups that we're going to be talking about today, and we're going to be talking about who needs to step up specifically in those matchups. Yes, it's a step up and show me Thursday here on the Southeastern 14 channel, as on the SEC Morning Report, as we talk about the key players in these matchups. But guys, if you want to have a key player in the world of online betting, then you need to hit up Bet Online. We are a part of the Believe Network here out on Southeastern 14, and you need to check out Bet Online as the last of the major sports leagues. The NBA has now kicked off its season. It's going. You've got Major League Baseball, you've got college football, NFL football, everything going on right now, even NHL, which I know nothing about. I know a lot of you are big hockey fans. I know nothing about the NHL, but if you do and you want to bet on it, you can head on over to Bet Online. It's the number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions, guys. So not only can you go over there and place your bets, but you can get the latest and updates and all that kind of stuff just to help you with analysis and things like that as well. Get everything, not only NBA, guys, but all the different sports right at your fingertips with a terrific desktop and mobile access for every sport at any time. Head to Bet Online today and get in on the action, guys. And you can also use the promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. So you're going to be halfway to a profit there already, guys. You're going to get a 50% welcome bonus on top of what you put in. Bet Online, where the game starts. So we appreciate the show being presented by Bet Online. And now, guys, let's go ahead and get to it. We've been covering these games all week. Who needs to step up in this matchup between Missouri and Georgia? The line now you see is anywhere from 15.5 to 16.5. Been thinking about the individual players or the individual units or the factors involved in this game and who needs to step up. And for Missouri, I think you're going to need to see that offensive line play unbelievably well in this game, because Georgia's going to do some things to try to totally stop the run game. And even though Georgia they're not a pressure first defense, they more kind of, constrict all the space and just don't let you have success on first and second down. They do, when they get you behind the chains, they have a third down package. They have guys they bring in, whether it's Jalen Walker, whether it's Xavier Sorey, Tyron Ingram-Dawkins has made some big plays now in the Florida game. Different guys that can be part of a speed package or a dime package or come in and specifically get after the passer a little bit. How will the Missouri offensive line hold up, especially in a road environment? There's going to be a lot of crowd noise, things like that. So I think we need to see this Missouri offensive line. I don't think there's any questions about how talented Brady Cook is and how well he's played this year. Luther Burden, Theo Weiss, Mookie Cooper, all of these guys. I think Cody Schrader is a good running back, but I don't know that it's going to be just easy sailing up there up front for that Missouri offensive line. I think that the show me state, Missouri, needs to come in. Eli Drinkwitz and the coaching staff there at Missouri, their motto is something to prove. I think that offensive line has something to prove when they come in versus the Georgia Bulldogs defensive front. You got guys like Tramel Walthor who have been there forever on Georgia's defensive front, played a really good game against Florida, and they're about as healthy as they've been all year with as many numbers and a lot of young guys getting better and better along that defensive front. So I think it's going to be a big challenge for Missouri's offensive line. That's who I need to step up and show me something in this game on the Missouri side of the ball is the big guys up front on that offensive line. Now for Georgia, I'm going to call out the Sanford Stadium crowd. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I think people still underestimate what kind of atmosphere Athens, Georgia is, particularly when it's any kind of team that has, some modicum of success coming into a game versus Georgia. People question, okay, are they going to be able to come in there and do different things offensively? They got this weapon, that weapon, and I don't think people still categorize Sanford Stadium and the noise that rains down upon Dooley Field there as the weapon that it is for Georgia. I've seen it over and over again on in 2021 when there was college game day twice there with Kentucky came into town, a good Kentucky team, a good Arkansas team, and the noise just completely took over the games. You saw it in Notre Dame a few years back. Some very, very loud environments. The Tennessee game last year for Georgia, of course, the crowd had a tremendous impact, even when it was in the rain. So will they be able to, impact this game? Force a couple of procedure penalties, force Eli Drinkwitz to take a timeout maybe when he doesn't want to. All that stuff factors in on the road, and Georgia has become a house of horrors for people. I mean, in Kirby Smart's tenure, the Georgia Bulldogs are 42-4 at home. 3 of those losses came in his first season. The last loss at home, 2018 versus the South Carolina Gamecocks, coached by Will Muschamp. I think it's going to take an extraordinary effort by Missouri to get things done there. And also, I think we need to see the Sanford Stadium crowd yet again step up and show something, because people, I think, are underestimating once again the type of atmosphere and effect that they can have on that game. So I'll be watching on TV and seeing how many false start penalties there are, see how many delay of game, timeouts taken, stuff like that. So those are my 2 step up and show me somethings for the Missouri and Georgia game this weekend. Texas A&M and Ole Miss, I'm looking forward to this game very, very much, and I want to see the Texas A&M offensive line step up against that just tremendous pass rush that Ole Miss has. They are second in the SEC with 30 sacks on the season, averaging 3.75 per game. And you have Jared Ivey, Cedric Johnson, Santarin Perkins that lead the way for them on sacks. You got big JJ Peguesi gets back there in the backfield. So they have a lot of talented guys that can get after Max Johnson. And it's going to be incumbent upon Bryce Foster, Layden Robinson, Feathery, all of these guys that have been around forever there, it seems like, for Texas A&M to step up and play with much better communication, much better cohesiveness up there on that front. They seem to have a lot of breakdowns on simple things like just slide protections. They try to do half slide or 3/4 slide or different things like that. I think sometimes you just got to say, okay, we're going to full slide protect, or we're going to go gap side, man side, and just get it done. I think teams tend to overcomplicate things at sometimes, but they're going to have to communicate against a Pete Golding coach defensive front that is going to get after Max Johnson a little bit. And also it would help if that Texas A&M team could run the football a little bit better. You should get Le'Veon Moss back this week. Reuben Owens showed some promise in that game against South Carolina, but even against South Carolina, they didn't run the football great. Okay. I think averaged 2.6 yards per carry. So nothing fantastic. You need to be able to run the football on an Ole Miss team that will give up some rushing yards, 135 run yards they give up per game. That's not the greatest in the world. I think it's ninth in the SEC in terms of rush defense, ninth or 10th. So I think you can run the ball on this Ole Miss defensive front, and that will give you the ability to slow down that pass rush if you're not one-dimensional. Okay. Now, when it comes down to it, Texas A&M, when they have success, guys, in all but one of their wins, which was last week against South Carolina, they have rushed the ball for at least 4.6 yards per carry. So that is going to be a key here. Can they get Amari Daniels, Le'Veon Moss, Reuben Owens, get them a little bit of something going in the run game? Also, I'd like to see if Texas A&M and Bobby Petrino, can they step up and show that they can remember the names of Evan Stewart and Anaya Smith for a 4-quarter period, continue to get them the football on a consistent basis, because those guys need their touches. But the group that has to step up and show me something here on this Thursday as we're going into this game is the Texas A&M offensive line. They've got to step up, play well, get something in the run game, and also protect Max Johnson as we are going into this game Saturday. For Ole Miss, we need to see Quinshon Judkins and Ulysses Bentley step up. Yes, I know that sounds a little strange because people, obviously talk, and rightfully so, about how good Quinshon Judkins is with all of his ability and all the yards that he racked up last year. But only 3 times this year has Quinshon Judkins gone over 100 yards. He did so for 177 against a just terrible LSU defense, and then also did so against Auburn and Vanderbilt. So, and those 2 games have come back to back. So he is trending in the right direction. But can you do it against this elite defensive front? And I mean elite defensive front that Texas A&M has, allowing teams just 2.85 yards per carry. They're the second best rush defense in the SEC. They got Walter Nolan, Taron York, Edrin Cooper. Edrin Cooper and Taron York are playing tremendous at linebacker. Edrin Cooper is a All-American in my book. Walter Nolan, of course, Shamar Turner, Shamar Stewart, all these guys across the front, defensive front, that make it hard for you to get anything going run-wise, and that is what Ole Miss's offense is predicated upon. So can Quinshon Judkins step up and be his best when his best is required? That is something that is yet to be seen here this year. Maybe that LSU game, but like I said, LSU has been like a sieve this year, guys. They've just allowed everybody to run through them. So this is going to be a challenge. This is going to be a Texas A&M defense. It's a early kick. Who's going to wake up motivated at 11 o'clock Central Time over there to bust some heads a little bit and get after it physically, because that Texas A&M defensive front is certainly capable of shutting down an opponent's run game. And then that will make things harder for a Lane Kiffin coached offense, because Jackson Dart will then become more one-dimensional. He may have to rely on his own legs a little bit, and their passing game would suffer then, in my opinion. So we need to see Quinshon Judkins and Ulysses Bentley step up and produce and be able to, you're going to have to break some tackles. You're going to have to BYOB a couple of times, be your own blocker, because you're not going to 100% block up this Texas A&M defensive front. They are active. They are physical. They're going to get after things. So I need to see Ole Miss's running back tandem of Quinshon Judkins and Ulysses Bentley step up and show me something this Saturday against Texas A&M. Arkansas and Florida. Guys, I want to see the Arkansas offensive line step up in this game, and here's why. Dan Enos has been fired. Sam Pittman kind of did that in the middle of the season, whether you like it or not, whatever. I think it's kind of a cop-out move to say, well, things weren't going well, so, but look, it's kind of this is the reason why, stuff like that. Fine, whatever. Kenny Guyton's going to call the plays, things like that. All I can say is, if you're the Arkansas offensive line, you better have a little bit of pride, because this Florida team is not good at pressuring the quarterback. You've been terrible all year at protecting KJ Jefferson. I know that supposedly Sam Pittman and Kenny Guyton are wanting to move the pocket a little bit more, also get some more naked bootlegs, things like that. But in order for that to work, you're going to have to get some kind of semblance of a run game going off of it for people to honor it. And also, like I said, this is not a Florida front that is very good at getting to the passer in general. So can you step up and do what you're supposed to against a front that is not elite at rushing the passer? And now they've learned that they don't have Florida does not have Shamar James for the rest of the year at linebacker due to an injury. So Arkansas, are you going to be able to handle a little bit of business up front, protect KJ Jefferson, give him opportunities to, every once in a while hand the ball off and let his running backs get 3-4 yards? That would be a welcome change if you are this Arkansas offense. And I think, all you can put, some blame on Dan Enos and all that kind of stuff, but ultimately it's this Arkansas offensive line and the lack of ability of Sam Pittman to, I think, create a good offensive line around KJ Jefferson this year that has been the downfall of this team. So I'm looking at that Hogs offensive line, looking for the Hogs up front for the Hogs. How do they do in this game? Then when you're talking about Florida, I want to see that offense step up on third down. I mean, a collective unit, Graham Mertz, those receivers get on the same page. 4 of 11 against Georgia. That's what cost you the ball game. Also, of course, we know what happened on fourth downs in that game versus Georgia. But on the money downs, I know Graham Mertz completes things at a high percentage, but it has not been down the field nearly enough. We need to see the Florida passing game take more chunks, okay? And I think that's going to happen when you get the run game going, you can get the play action going even better. But on third down, let's see Graham Mertz and let's see those wide receivers be a little bit more consistent. We know Eugene Wilson can make plays from time to time, but Florida has trouble getting separation on third downs. And there's been times this year when they are, in tight man-to-man coverage where there just hadn't been places for Graham Mertz to throw the football really. Arkansas is going to be as aggressive as anybody on defense with that Travis Williams coached team. Landon Jackson and company up front, they can get after you. Dwight McGlothern is not afraid to play tight man coverage. So there's going to be opportunities for one-on-one battles. Can Ricky Pearsall, can Eugene Wilson, can Andy Jean, can all these guys, the tight ends there that are stepping up for Florida, can they get a little separation on third down and be consistent? I need to see Graham Mertz and that wide receiving corps step up a little bit. Now, they have not been they've made plays from time to time, but the consistency has not been there, particularly on third down. Florida only converting 35% of third downs this year. Not a good mark at all. You want that number to be way, way closer to 50% to give you a chance to extend drives, to give you a chance to protect your defense and not let them have to be on the field for so many plays. So let's see Florida's third down offense. Can they step up in the swamp at home? That's what I'm looking at in that game. And guys, last but not least, you have LSU and Alabama. All right, LSU, this defensive front, only 14 sacks on the year. That's 13th, almost dead last in the SEC. You've got to step up with Harold Perkins, with Mason Smith, with Savion Jones, with all these guys over there, and be able to get after Jalen Milroe, an Alabama offensive line that has allowed the most sacks in the league, 35 sacks on the year. I don't care what you think about Harold Perkins and Brian Kelly want him to, be a complete linebacker and all this kind of stuff. This isn't the game for that. This is the game to turn him loose. So the group for LSU that needs to step up and show something is that defensive front, because not only do they need to get after the passer, but Alabama and Tommy Rees want to play bully ball. They want to, like they did in that second half of that Tennessee game, just be able to hand it off to Jace McClellan and let him bludgeon his way for 3, 4, 5, 6 yards at a time and just kind of wear you down, and then take shots over the top to Burton and Bond. And those shots become more effective when they are able to hit time after time again on that running game with Jace McClellan, and then to a lesser extent, Roydell Williams. But I need to see this defensive front, this front seven for LSU, step up and play well. Now, I would call out the LSU back end of their defense, guys, but they're hurt. They got Zy Alexander not going to play. Deuce Chestnut's not going to play. Denver Harris is not going to play. It's going to be kind of patchwork on the back end, so that makes it I'm not even going to call them out because you can't, once you get so many injuries, I don't think it's even fair to call a group out and say, step up and show me something. I think it's that front seven. It's that pass rush. It's the run defense that is going to have to give them a chance in this game because we know how good LSU is offensively, and they can put up points. So, but you got to help them by getting a few stops, and you do that by keeping Alabama off schedule and putting them in third and medium to third and long. We'll see if LSU will be able to accomplish that. Alabama, we need to see Tommy Rees come out and be jacked up, be prepared, be ready to go, have his team ready to go because they have not been in some big home games in the first half earlier this year. Ole Miss didn't play well in the first half. Tennessee didn't play well in the first half. Both home games, both big-time matchups. I want to see Tommy Rees come out with a little bit better plan, a little bit better scheme to take advantage of what LSU is going to do early. Start fast, get things out in your playmakers' hands early, maybe mix some things up, do a little self-scouting, things of that nature that every team I'm sure does on the bye week, and I'm sure that Alabama did, but find creative ways to get the ball to those playmakers. It seems like they're only able to get Burton the ball deep down the field. They're only able to hit, Bond on some deep crossing routes and things of that nature. Find ways to get the ball into your playmakers' hands early. Take a little bit of pressure off of Jalen Milroe because, with the troubles that Alabama has had on the offensive front, LSU is going to try to bring pressure. They're going to try to create havoc early. So I want to see Tommy Rees be able to adjust to that and give Alabama some success early. Guys, we always appreciate you stepping up and showing us something, showing up here to watch the SEC Morning Report. So thankful for each one of you tuning in. Like I said, make sure to check out Bet Online, who are presented by. You can get you that 50% welcome bonus. Also, there's a description. There's a link in the description for 15% discount off on Chomps if you want a delicious snack, whether it's beef, turkey, venison, all the different flavors down there. Go ahead and get you a nice protein snack down there, and you get 15% off. Kids love them. We keep them, here in the household. So you need to check that out. Chomps right there below in the description. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications. As always, we are your home for daily SEC coverage. But like I said, Blake Lovell and Chris Lee are going to be getting the basketball up and rolling, and we've got a couple of different little things coming your way. This channel is always evolving, so make sure you are tuned in here for all your SEC coverage on Southeastern 14 for everyone at the channel. I am Blayne Gilmer. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next time right here on the SEC Morning Report on Southeastern 14.